going on, guys? Grimm here, and you didn't really think I was gonna miss this fucking release, did you? Come on now. I grew up on Jason. He's my Batman. That sounds really bad. Anyway, Friday the 13th was just released not that long ago on both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One as well as PC, and I finally got my hands on this game and able to give it a try. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about it here and give you guys an idea of what the game is and show you some footage, and you can decide for yourselves if it's something you're interested in, because I just had to pick this up, not only because I'm a giant Friday the 13th fan, but because IllFonic, the guys who made the game, seem to be just huge fans of the series in the first place, and that this was a passion project for them. So I like to support indie developers when I can, and this is just the Friday the 13th game I've always wanted. Obviously, this is very much in the same vein as games that came out before that you can get on Steam, like Damned, where it's a multiplayer game where one person plays an antagonist, whereas everybody else takes control of survivor characters that are supposed to try to make it to a goal to escape, or at least just wait out the clock and live. Friday the 13th is no exception to this. You play as the counselors, you get to pick your counselor, and each counselor does have their different strengths and weaknesses. You can work together, or you can choose to strike out on your own. There's benefits to both strategies, so it's all in how you want to play. You don't have to move in routes when you're playing as a camp counselor. You can either choose to cooperate, or you can leave your friends in the fucking dust. Now, the requirements to survive in this game range from getting a car working and getting the hell out, calling the police and waiting for them to show up, and you can even manage, I've heard, to take the big guy down yourself, although I have yet to see that. As far as different ways to defend yourself, you can break free of Jason's grasp if he gets a hold of you. You can also hide under beds and closets. You can climb in and out of windows and bar doors. You also do have a variety of weapons that you can pick up, and that ranges anything from your basic frying pan to a machete. You can even find a flare gun and occasionally find a shotgun, which does massive damage and stops Jason in his fucking tracks, but only for a little bit. There's also a fear meter in this game. You don't actually see it, but it's made apparent through the way that your character behaves. When you discover dead bodies, when you're being chased by Jason, or you're being hurt, or hiding in the dark because Jason can cut the power, your counselor will tend to fucking panic a little bit. So you need to be careful about how much you expose yourself. Hauling ass through the woods is usually not a good idea. We've seen how well that works out in the films. There's a lot of strategy involved in surviving the night. Now, as you're playing through the game, you want to search everywhere because you can find all kinds of helpful items. And this ranges from weapons to first aid sprays, basically a la Resident Evil, that will give you some of your health back and keep you from getting fucking splattered, as well as the tools or items you need to make good your escape. Now, everything you do takes time, and you are vulnerable. You are very squishy, as we have learned. If captured by Jason, you can manage to break free, but only if you have high stamina and you're in good health. Otherwise, game over, man. I've done quite a bit of playing as the different counselors, going through and looking at their strengths and weaknesses, and you do also unlock perks for them, and this could be anything from allowing you to take more damage, letting you make repairs quicker, as well as letting you start with certain items. It's a roll of the die every time you use it because you do earn experience points every time you complete a round. You get these points by basically performing tasks during the level. And this could be anything from the repairs needed for escape, arming yourself, barring doors. Pretty much anything you do nets you some kind of points that you can use after the fact to get new perks, and you can also unlock new costumes for each counselor based on how far you've leveled up. And when you unlock a perk, you can use it on any counselor that you want. I think it's fun and intuitive to play as a counselor, and one of the biggest things that they really nailed with this is the atmosphere and the tension. When you hear Jason stomping around outside or breaking windows looking for you or starting to smash down the door, it does get pretty fucking intense, especially when you're running through the woods looking behind you only to run smack dab into him because he does that magical teleport thing we all know how to do apparently. One of the most important parts of playing as a counselor in this game is barring the doors, because this ensures that Jason will alert you to his presence by breaking them down, thus giving you the time to jump out a fucking window and get the hell out of there. regardless of whether or not you choose to coordinate your efforts with other players or strike out on your own. With some ingenuity, good strategy, and a lot of luck, you just might live to talk about it. Now to the part you probably most want to know about, playing as Jason. Now, Jason has his own unique set of skills, and each different version of Jason that you can play as has his strengths and weaknesses. Now, the models of Jason available in this game at launch are Part 2 with his bag head, Part 3, good old Richard Brooker, may he rest in peace. Part 6, Jason Lives with his trademark spear. And then we have Part 7, New Blood. We actually have Jason Takes Manhattan Jason and Jason Goes to Hell. All of the zombie or undead versions of Jason cannot run, so you are stuck basically at a brisk walk. And each different version of Jason spawns with a different weapon, whereas Part 2 Jason spawns with a pickaxe, which he used in the film. Part 3 Jason spawns with an axe. Part 6 spawns with his spear, or the piece of the fence that he was used to bring him back to life, and so on and so forth. Now, when playing as Jason, you have a couple different unique abilities that really do give you an edge over all these people that are so much faster than you. Morph allows you to instantly jump from one point on the map to another, thus surprising the living fuck out of anybody and going to where you think they are, as you will be able to catch up to anyone who's trying to make good their escape or repair something. Sense allows you to basically see through walls and gives you a better idea of where your victims are inside these buildings. Stalk allows Jason to mask his presence basically and lets you sneak up on people for those surprise kills. There's also a rage mode that you can initiate, which allows him to bust right through doors and basically do extra damage and become the beast we all know he fucking is. And probably the most useful tool in Jason's arsenal is Shift, which basically allows him to teleport short distances. This means that when somebody's hauling ass away from you, not paying attention, you can essentially get the drop on them in the worst way. Jason also has some other weapons at his disposal. He can set bear traps to ensnare counselors, which is really good to put around points where they need to repair something, like, say, put a battery inside a car or repair a phone box on the outside of a building. Some versions of Jason also come equipped with throwing knives, which gives you an edge at a distance. This means that you can slow down fleeing counselors by inflicting damage on them, thus giving you time to catch up and, ruin their fucking day. Overall, I think this game is a fucking blast. It's half manhunt, half just multiplayer fucking free-for-all. It's a lot of fun to play, and now that everybody's not having connectivity issues on the PS4 or any other platform since they released the patch, it's actually a viable game to buy. I did hear that as far as future DLC goes, that they will not be able, as of right now, to release a skin for Freddy vs. Jason because of some licensing rights with that particular entry in the series, but that doesn't mean that we're still not going to be able to see Jason X. If anybody gives a shit, I fucking fuck Uber Jason, but some people were fans, so you might be able to get your Jason X, your Uber Jason. We also might see Remake Jason, as we sort of saw him in Mortal Kombat X, but now we'd actually get to play with him in the actual game, as well as, I know it's probably only going to be a couple slight modifications to the Part 3, but we might get a final chapter version, and I would really love to see some love for Roy from Part 5, because come on. Roy was pretty badass, you gotta admit it. And plus, the mask with the blue stripes and the coveralls look pretty badass. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't any downsides to this game. Right now, this is an online-only game. I did hear that they are going to release a patch which basically adds single player to it, which is going to consist of missions where you play as Jason that kind of reflect certain things from the movies, or just mission modes where you play as them. I also heard that they're going to allow you to do basically offline bot matches with counselors. So that would be good, because initially when I put this in, I had no fucking clue what I was was doing and I got my face wrecked because there's no tutorial really. I mean, you can read the how to play part of the game, but without actually playing the game, you don't really have a lot of time to figure shit out because when Jason's bearing down on you, you're fucking dead if you don't get out of there. So there's a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning. There are some glitches. I did notice some environmental issues, getting stuck on rocks and stuff like that, and also just little graphical things, but nothing major, nothing game-breaking that I've encountered thus far. Just mostly little silly things that'll probably get fixed at some point.
Just 'cause you play it cool, don't think you got this fool tonight. Alright, don't ask me to stay. Don't think you got it made, no, you're wrong. 'Cause you can't fake it anymore.
Like I said, I'm having a fucking blast playing this game. It's nice to finally get a good Friday the 13th game because for the longest time, all we had to make do were fan-made Flash games online, and essentially the old LJN Nintendo game, which we don't even really need to fucking talk about. You all know how shitty that game is by now, so I think this game is actually a lot of fun. If you get the chance, check it out. I recommend it, especially if you're a huge Friday the 13th fan. The music is perfect, the atmosphere is perfect, it controls well, it's fun to play. There are some frustrating aspects about it, especially when you get into a room with shitty people or, you know, other players that just go run and hide and don't actually attempt to play the game, but, you know, that's any game that you fucking play with other people. Hopefully when the single player comes out, this will do better, and I hope these guys do well because, honestly, I dig the hell out of this game. Bottom line, if you're a big Friday the 13th fan and you enjoy this kind of game, you're gonna fucking love it. Just fucking buy it. If you're on the fence about it, you're not sure about the gameplay style, you know, maybe, you know, watch some more videos on it, or if somebody you know has it, test it out or rent it. And if you're not a Friday the 13th fan, what the fuck are you doing on my channel? Really? Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you thought down in the comments section, and I will see you next time.
My sweet, sweet Jason. Mommy is proud of you. Now come home.